Iran said it would begin cooperating with an investigation into uranium particles found at undeclared sites in the country ahead of the week-long meeting of the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, board in Vienna. It followed a visit to the Iranian capital, Tehran, last week by IAEA chief Rafael Grossi.
It was the first time I could have a serious conversation with the president of Iran about these things. This has enormous importance. It's not promises. We do have certain agreements which are concrete.
Grossi said Iran would also allow the reinstallation of monitoring equipment at key nuclear sites, though details have not been agreed. The equipment was put in place under the 2015 nuclear deal, known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, between Iran and 6 world powers. The equipment was removed last year as the deal unravelled following the United States' 2018 withdrawal from the JCPOA under then-President Donald Trump. Western nations warn that Iran is getting much closer to making a nuclear bomb. Tehran insists its nuclear activities are for civilian purposes. Last month, the IAEA said inspectors had found uranium particles enriched to 83.7% near weapons-grade purity at Iran's Fordo nuclear plant. Tehran has downplayed the find, saying it cannot be seen even under a microscope. Meanwhile, the IAEA said Iran's stockpile of uranium enriched to 60% had increased by just under half since its last quarterly meeting. Critics say the West must impose more penalties on Iran.
What we need to do now is to snap back and fully restore sanctions, particularly those that existed at the UN Security Council from 2006 to 2010, that create a multilateral baseline for pressure, that have a permanent arms ban on the Islamic Republic, that have a permanent missile testing and transfer prohibition on the Islamic Republic.
The CIA said last month there was no evidence that Iran had decided to weaponize its enriched uranium, but it noted the country's nuclear program was growing at a worrisome pace. Israel, meanwhile, has said it will not allow Iran to develop a nuclear bomb.
Is it permissible for Iran, which openly calls for our destruction, to organize the tools of slaughter for our destruction? Are we forbidden from defending ourselves? We are obviously permitted to do this, and we are obviously doing it.
Indirect talks between the US and Iran to restore the 2015 nuclear deal broke down in September. Since then, the US and Europe have imposed further sanctions on Tehran following its violent crackdown on anti-government protests and its supply of military drones to Russia. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News.